What is going on, everybody? Nasdorachi coming back at you again for 5-9 Gaming Pokemon Unite. Hopefully everyone in the audience doing well today. What I'm going to be doing with my slot for the video here is analyzing somebody else's Pokemon Unite gameplay. I feel like from an outside perspective, I have a very strong familiarity with MOBA games like Dota 2 and League of Legends and Paragon and all these different types of games. So I felt like it would be useful potentially to the audience and anyone else who's trying to learn about MOBAs and some of the things you should and shouldn't doing in these games. You know, maybe I can give some active commentary on that by analyzing on a gameplay that my good friend Waffles sent over to me. So we're not going to waste too much more time because we will be watching a game here. So let's go ahead and pull it up, get things started here. In the very beginning, we're going to be centering around the Zeraora character, who is fulfilling the jungle role in this battle. So that's the most important thing we are going over here is Waffles playing proper jungle? So Unite being a little different as there's no mid lane. The jungle role itself, however, is still pretty consistent with other MOBA games. You generally want to get as much EXP as you can because you're solo leveling, farming EXP by yourself, and then you want to provide as much floating assistance to the top and bottom lanes as you can to set up some good 3v2 situations and kind of just start steamrolling an advantage. So in the beginning here, Waffles is doing, you know, the standard thing you have to do, killing his first jungle minion. He is smartly going for the blue buff here first, which actually impacts his ability to deal with and kill these jungle minions. So I guess he's just lucky that that's the one that spawned up there, and he went for the blue first. Made a good decision. Now going for the red, this buff is particularly useful against other players, and having both of them, you know, it's only going to help your experience here. The early game for jungle, this is essentially what you should be doing. You really want to get as many levels as you can early on so that when you jump out to gank for your lanes, common terminology for just jumping out to provide that 3v2 advantage, you're going to be at a more advantageous stance. So it's very good when the top and bottom lanes are able to hold their own and allow you that time in the beginning to jungle. So at level 5 here, Waffles is starting to make his first moves into the field. You can see that they have their jungler, the, I guess, Machamp, I guess for what it's worth, is also level 5. Meanwhile, the other laners are level 4 each. So, ooh, we got Cinderace up to 5 now off that. Basically, they did a 1-for-1 trade there. So it's not really a negative net loss. As you see, Waffles did, just to quickly rewind, Waffles jumped in. He did kill the enemy's Zeraora, but then he himself died. Nobody else in the lane died down bottom. And top isn't particularly struggling right now either. So the 1-for-1 trade, it's fine, honestly, early on. As long as, you know, your losses are not worse than, you know, the enemy's losses. So again, he's going to buff back up, get some more experience. Again, very crucial for jungle. You have to manage leveling, trying to keep an advantage over the opponents, while also being able to fluidly assist them whenever needed. His top lane seems to be doing pretty good up here. They're pushing, and they've been rubber banding back and forth, generally holding their own. Right now, the bottom is most in need of his help, so he finishes clearing his jungle, and he kind of goes down here to provide some support. That's probably the right move. The only other suggestion I could have made was for him to maybe approach through the middle. If you see my cursor up on the mini-map, to approach through this area. That may have been the only suggestion, but he may have not had time to do that. Now he's effectively counter-jungling right there, taking out the enemy Zeraora. Oh, but the Cinder Bunny coming here to back him up. He does end up getting it, and they actually score a double off that. But the Machamp is back there scoring on their goal. Honestly, the +2 there was worth it. So they got 2 kills off of that, even if the enemy scored a little bit. I think that's definitely... Now +3. So yeah, that was definitely a good maneuver there. Now Waffles just really needs to escape. See the slow bro coming in trying to gank Waffles, but he was successfully able to get out of that situation. Now we're in pretty much full team play on the bottom lane here. Waffles pushing out to apply some pressure, picks up a kill there, and actually is doing very well here. He's not sticking around in dangerous spots. His positioning is pretty good. He's got the tank in front of him. And, oh, that was a little bit of an aggressive play right there. But Zeraora has some good mobility. Yeah, not good enough, though. So he did overextend a little bit there. Only thing I would have done differently is maintain positioning behind this tank. As you can see right here, we have the little hermit crab guy. The names of the Pokemon always escape me, y'all. I apologize for that. What, Crustle, that's right. So he's got the tank in good position here with the tanks in front of him, but you'll see the tank does start to retreat, and at this point, he's a little bit overextended beyond what his team is able to supply him defensive buffs for or to block for him, and that really ends up being the reason why he got killed there. Now, maybe he allowed some more of his teammates to escape because of that, but overall, I think maybe that was a little bit of an aggressive play, just made in the heat of the moment. Otherwise, the gameplay here has actually been pretty spot on. Everyone's seeming to be still battling down at the bottom. Now, the only problem with this situation here is you can't see all of the enemy players on the map. Someone could be attempting to sneak up here, grab the Rotom, get some extra scoring in. In this game, that is definitely a huge impact. Now they just took out 2 more. You can see 2 of their players are dead. That means 2 more MIA right now. We don't know where the final 2 are. I guess there we go there, but then now their whole team is back alive, essentially, so they're missing an action. Now in this game, it's very popular to have top lane come down to help you take out the Dreadnought. It helps you clear it very, very quickly. It's actually the recommended strategy in this game is to come down and try and team battle for the Dreadnought. And they seem to have organized that pretty well. You saw the enemy team tried to come in there and snipe that. And back in top lane, you did see that the Cinder Bunny up here, Cinderace, was trying to make that Rotom play. But Waffle's team, Cinderace, went in, sniped it, and cleaned up. So they actually made a very good play up there. Waffle's still helping in lane. At this point in the game, it's understandable to not be floating in the jungle so much because later in the game, you'll end up getting in a lot of 4v4 or 5v5 situations. And you kind of need the whole team in one spot for those big team battles. We did see the enemy's Machamp cutting through the jungle there. He floated back up top. Ooh, at this point, Waffles does see the Gengar, everyone retreating. Not Gengar, the Greninja, sorry. And he goes up to try and provide some anti-scoring, but he's definitely outnumbered here. Needs to get into that healing zone. This is... Oh, he actually picked up a good kill there. Burned the ult. That was actually really good. He had his ult available. He's... Ooh. But yeah, I would have suggested that he tried to stay a little bit more back in the defensive zone because that Machamp really, really hits hard. But he did good. Again, he took out 1, so that was an even trade. And he kind of stalled long enough for Greninja to come in there and pick up another. So I would say that in this battle here, the Machamp has been the biggest threat, the biggest enemy to Waffles here. And going for the buffs, that's really good. That one is the NPC buff there, and then to get the red buff is the more useful one this late in the game for sure. Both lanes are pretty much pushed equally, and there's not really any defensive problems that need to be worried about at the moment. Waffles is able to pick up the buffs and then join the fight. Grab some health first. That works out fine. Again, right now, the whole enemy team is MIA, so you got Machamp up there sneaking in some points. Again, Waffles' team is really far ahead right now, so that's kind of inconsequential. But it's something you definitely want to pay attention to if the score is, you know, much closer in the game. Like, if teams are dead even, you'll definitely want to play, not abandoning one of those lanes. But for the purposes of all these team battles and how far behind this team is, yeah, this is a really good approach for Waffles here. The Machamp is way far behind him, and this Gardevoir is really screwed. Cinder Bunny is going to be the next target. 3v1's not really anything can be done about that. Oh, Slowbro coming in a bit too late there. Slowbro should have just stayed back, I think. But we'll see how this plays out for him. Alright, now it's a little bit more dangerous, but the Crustle is there to provide tanking, which allows Waffles to play that aggressively right there. So he's making the move, expecting the Zapdos here. That's really the only thing the enemy can do at this point to really kind of come back. He's trying to take the Zapdos, so we'll have to see how that plays out. You have the Greninja going up there to go for Rotom. I honestly... Waffles getting these 50 points in here is actually fairly important, but Waffles could theoretically hold them until the end where they're worth more under that 2-minute mark. So yeah, that was a little bit of an aggressive play. What I would have done there, as soon as Waffles kind of split off to go up here, I would have, let's see, right here. As soon as Waffles made this play and was starting to go to score, I probably would have been back over here with the Greninja doing Rotom. The Rotom would have provided the enemy extra pressure. They wouldn't have been able to chase like this because they would have wanted to stay back, fight the Rotom off the goal. So again, you know, just pointing out different things here, what could have been done differently and what was done well. The Greninja was able to get the Rotom, but 2v1 into a 3 scenario here, he wasn't able to hold the lane without Waffles. So yeah, sometimes it just be like that. Waffles going in to try and interrupt any more scoring, which is fine. I feel like this game is going to be very heavily dependent on Zapdos at this point because the enemy has pushed back pretty well. Made kind of a recovery here. This is fine. A 1-for-1 trade that ended in his favor. It prevented the Zeraora from being in the middle to help go for the Zapdos, so that's honestly fine. And him prioritizing getting into the middle here is definitely the most important thing. They can afford to lose a few goals if they can get this Zapdos, so I honestly think he made the right call there. All right, yep, them securing an overwhelming advantage here in middle and then clearing out the Zapdos. This is going to be the game winner right here. Basically, the enemy team kind of disjointed. They're all separated. 2 of them are dead. They're in no place where they're able to kill the Zapdos. And he's actually doing really well here, preventing them from having gotten close to try and snipe away the last hit of the Zapdos. So that final interaction there was very well played. And that's going to essentially seal this game. Like, the enemy team almost made a comeback there towards the end. But going for Zapdos in this game, definitely a huge priority. All the perks you get from it, the instant scoring, all the points. Definitely a game-winning play right there. So honestly, at this point, it doesn't really matter what they do. He's going to want to play defensive for the rest of the game. He cleared all his points. Really just need to protect those last 2 turrets. If both of them don't fall and a bunch of points not slammed in the middle, he's got the guaranteed W here. So I think that's what he's doing. Just sticking close, preventing any type of counterplay. There's only 20 seconds left. That was a really good move right there, hiding in the bush. Because the Cinder Ace did not have any idea who was there. So he's playing very well right there, hiding in the bush, using that assassin style that Zeraora is really good at. And they pick up another kill there. So yeah, the enemy's just kind of desperately going for points, but yeah, there was no room for any comeback there. I think that was a pretty well played game. I pointed out some of the standout plays. I think there was only like 2 mistakes that he made, which was overextending beyond the Crustle right here. I think that was one of the only mistakes that he made, in addition to pursuing a little bit too aggressively for this top goal right here. These are really the only 2 things where I think Waffles was really not properly positioned. Outside of that, everything that happened in the game was like a 1-for-1 trade or ended up having an advantageous result for his team. So he did play the jungle role very well in the beginning, you know, clearing out the mobs he was supposed to clear, getting a nice little level advantage. And honestly, other than those 2 things, I don't think there's too much he could have done better here. He played Zeraora's strengths, being hyper mobile, using the bushes, jumping out and killing. He got his points in after Zapdos. He helped protect the Zapdos from getting sniped. They've controlled the middle of the field there during that fight, allowing the enemy really no chance to stop them from getting Zapdos. So very well played game overall. And jungling role, honestly, in MOBAs, jungling is one of the most complicated roles to get a firm grasp on, because it's very hard to always know like when and where you're supposed to be. You definitely have to watch the mini-map up in the top corner a lot more when you're jungling, because you're essentially, you know, needed all over the playing field at different times. And knowing when to jump out and gank is a very fine art. You know, when the enemy pushes in, thinking they can get in 2v2, and then you pop out and flank from behind and quickly turn it into a 2v3. That's when the jungle is going to provide the best possible results for winning the game. I don't want to drag this video out too much longer. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this little analysis video of me watching someone else's gameplay. Kind of allows me the freedom to you know, judge it at a very face value. Again, nothing against Waffles. I think he played very well, and I think the 2 mistakes he made were pretty obvious. He probably even knows them himself after the fact. And this type of stuff allows you to become a better player, you know, analyzing gameplay like this. So hopefully, if you guys are new around here, consider hitting that subscribe button so we can see you again on future videos. You can definitely do more of these game analysis, kind of John Madden style play-by-plays if we can get more footage in. So if you guys remain interested in the audience, want to see stuff like this, consider hitting a thumbs up, help spread it out on YouTube. Maybe we can build a little audience around it. We supremely appreciate each and every one of y'all who checked out the videos. Leave your comments and feedback down below. Do you think my assessment was pretty spot on? You know, have any recommendations, any suggestions for things that you'd like to see? Let us know, and we love to see you again on the next video. Peace out, everybody.